We cannot continue as a country and continent whereby we send our resources to be processed in other countries, which means we are importing jobs of our young people. Both of our countries are producers of uranium. Namibia in particular, we are third uranium producers in the world. And there's no reason why we cannot talk about nuclear energy.
Hello guys, welcome once again to AfriPost. I hope wherever you are, you're having a great time. Now, we have seen a wave of change sweeping across African nations, and many leaders are rising to the occasion and accepting and listening to the tune that most African youths are singing. They want change, and they want to be cut off of that link between Africa and Western nations, or if you like it, their colonizers. Currently, there is this thing that is happening in Burkina Faso, where Captain Ibrahim Traore has amassed support from almost all African countries in the continent, and they want him to be a symbol of unity and a symbol of solidarity against Western powers that have been hovering around the African continent and stealing resources. And that is why Captain Ibrahim Traore has been joined by Namibian President Nandi Ndaitwah. This is the first woman president of Namibia, and she has come in with a force to reckon with, and she wants reparations to be paid and respect to the life of blacks that were lost during the Herero massacre that happened in Namibia under the authority and rule of German government. I want us to listen to this clip of her speaking and talking about why she supports Ibrahim Traore and says that Ibrahim Traore is a continental treasure that Africa must respect and cherish. Let's watch this, then come back and share our thoughts.
We cannot continue as a country and continent whereby we send our resources to be processed in other countries, which means we are importing jobs of our young people. Both of our countries are producers of uranium. Namibia in particular, we are third uranium producers in the world. And there's no reason why we cannot talk about nuclear energy. If other countries in the world are using it, why can't we use it? If other continents have done it, why Africa cannot do so? Asante sana ndugu Rais for the floor. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has clearly summarized our discussions. However, let me, on behalf of our delegation, to thank Your Excellency, Madam President, the government, and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm welcome. Yes, this is my introductory visit after I have been inaugurated as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia. Your Excellency, I have to thank you sincerely for having found time to attend our 35th independence celebration and to attend my inauguration, and more particularly for you to have accepted to be the guest speaker on that occasion when I was being inaugurated. Looking back to the history of Namibia and Tanzania, and what Tanzania has done for Southern Africa and Africa as a whole, to be in the forefront for the struggle for independence by hosting the OAU Liberation Coordinating Committee, a body that had a special task not only to support liberation movements politically, but militarily. I recall very well, as a SWAPO chief representative in East Africa, based in Dar es Salaam, there was no any other entry point for the military hardware of the liberation movements rather than Dar es Salaam. And they all come under the care of the AU Liberation Coordinating Committee. And all these are the plans of the first president of the United Republic of Tanzania, President Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, a person that we will always remember. And with that history, I could not choose any other person than yourself, Madam President, to come and be the guest speaker so that you can inspire me and the people of Namibia as I was starting a journey in which you have expertise, having been there longer. And I must say, your statement on my inauguration has been well received in Namibia. It has been discussed, and it has inspired us. I'm here today to introduce myself and to learn from your experience and to share experience where you have identified our strengths. As you keep referring that Namibia has gained experience in the area of blue economy, particularly in the management of our fishing industry. Yes, blue economy is something we realized. While the international community is only now waking up and talk about the blue economy, for us in Namibia, if you look at the flag of the SWAPO party, the blue, we have been always defining it as representing our natural resources that are in the Atlantic Ocean. So it's a blue economy, and that's why at the time of our independence, we found that our fishing stock has been depleted because there was fishing uncontrolled. Immediately, we put in place policies that has made it possible for our stock to recover. And that's why the fishing industry up to now remains the one of the backbone of our economy. Of course, we had some shocks. The unfortunate happened is known internationally when some scrupulous elements got into our fishing industry, thus creating a dent. However, I want to tell you, with our strong institution and the fishing laws, our industry is recovering very well, and it continues to play its role in our economy. Madam President, I agree we share a common history. We share a common history that made us to be where we are today in this world which is dominated by men, unfortunately. But that's the reality of the situation, and we never felt threatened at all. We remain focused, and we will continue to remain focused, because the interest is, what do we do for our people, for our citizens? Yes, we had very good discussions where we have identified the areas of cooperation, and all of them can be summarized in one word or two, that they are aimed to create employment in our respective countries, particularly to our young people who deserve nothing but the best from us. Because we know that once people are employed, they will be able to take care of themselves, and in that way, we are addressing the gap between the haves and the have-nots and eradicate poverty in our countries, thereby ensuring that the peace and stability that we are enjoying today will be sustained. And that's why the areas that we identified are areas that can drive our economies. Agriculture is top in the agenda, as it's good for job creation and for food security. And when we talk about agriculture, we talk about it holistically, to understand the soil we are having, the seeds that we need, and both the livestock and agronomic. And then we'll be able to comfortably talk about agro-processing, which is very important in the growth of our economy. We talk about mining of value addition. We cannot continue as a country and continent whereby we send our resources to be processed in other countries, which means we are importing jobs of our young people. And that's why value addition and value chain are the things that we have to look seriously, particularly that we produce more or less the same goods. For example, both Namibia and Tanzania are known as cattle countries. You have a lot of cattle here, and we also have ours. We can discuss and see how we can have value chain in those sectors where we are producing the same. If other continents have done it, why Africa cannot do so? We always also agree to share information on ensuring energy, because in the SADC region, there is energy deficit. And we agreed to look at all the mixed energy which is available, the well-known conventional energy, the renewable energy, and of course, both of our countries are producers of uranium. Namibia in particular, we are third uranium producers in the world. And there's no reason why we cannot talk about nuclear energy. If other countries in the world are using it, why can't we use it? It's reliable and it's more strong and will enable us to have enough energy in our region. Yes, Madam President, we have agreed that our private sector have to play a role as we are developing trade corridors, like in the case of Namibia, Trans-Kalahari, Trans-Caprivi, and of course Tazara on this side. Who are the people to use them is our business sector. We have agreed we want to see big business activities by the Namibians and Tanzanian business people in our respective countries. Currently, there are small businesses that are going on, which we recognize, but we would want to see at least even one big business by Tanzanian business people in Namibia and vice versa. And then in that way, we know that we are driving our economy in order to serve all our people. Your Excellency, you have really said all what we have discussed. And I just want to confirm, yes, I have agreed. You have agreed when I proposed that very soon I will send our ministers responsible for portrait and the minister responsible for industries to come back so that they can look at the programs that are going on here. And of course, we will also sensitize the Namibian business people to take part in the Sabasaba. It's a very important and very big activities. And for Tanzania, the business is here, the market is here because of the population. So we will sensitize them to come. And it's my hope that something tangible will come out. Madam President, rest be assured of our government's commitment to continue strengthening cooperation between our two countries. Tomorrow, I will be very happy to be among my peers at the University of Dar es Salaam, where I am invited to share my experience. I'm proud of the Dar es Salaam University. It's a university I've been associated with for a long time. For all 6 good years, I served as the chief representative in Dar es Salaam, or in East Africa, based in Dar es Salaam. The Department of Political Science at the University of Dar es Salaam had made it their customs that annually they would want their political science students to be inducted into the struggle of Southern Africa and Africa. And I'm one of those who have been invited to be part of that induction. And I was honored, as mentioned here by the President, that the University of Dar es Salaam found it fit to give me a doctorate degree from that university, which I appreciate, which I'm proud of. And tomorrow, I'll be very happy to share with the students who are there of my experience and also to understand their inspirations and what they are yearning to do moving forward. Let me conclude, because when I'm in Dar es Salaam, I wouldn't want to go anywhere. And this is not a joke. It's a place that is so closer to my heart. It's a place where I was shaped politically, and it's a place I appreciate. My Swahili was good, but remember, over 35 years, not really mingling with the Swahili speaking, you can see the damage it has been made. But now that the Trump University are coordinating by advocating and promoting Swahili in Namibia, in my busy schedule, I might find the time to polish up my Swahili, even if it means maybe getting a tutor who can come to the office just for me to recall my Swahili. Sasa nasema kwa wananchi wa Tanzania, nafurahi sana kwa fika hapa Dar es Salaam. Nyumba yange mikala miaka 6 na wanu wa Tanzania wetukaribisha sana. Twafanya kazi yetu, hakuna matatizo, tuliko kama wandu wa mama umu. Asanteni sana. Next time it will be better.
Wow, welcome once again to the channel. Now, after listening to her, you are able to see why she's really calling for Africa to be united behind Captain Ibrahim Traore. We know that Africa has been taken advantage of, and we have not exploited the full potential that we have as a continent. Our natural resources are untapped, and most mining industries that we have in the continent are not our own. They are foreign owned, and that is why on the business of mining minerals and processing them, most of Western nations still have an upper hand because they invested in that field heavily to ensure that they be the ones controlling the economies and the markets around the entire mineral resources. And that is why leaders of Africa must wake up and decide to face these challenges that they have head on. President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, inaugurated in March 2025 as Namibia's first female head of state, has swiftly initiated transformative policies aimed at national development and social equity. In her inaugural State of the Nation address, she announced a groundbreaking policy to provide free tertiary education at all state-run universities and vocational training centers starting in 2026. This initiative builds upon Namibia's existing provision of free primary and secondary education, aiming to alleviate financial barriers and enhance opportunities for the country's predominantly young population. In addition to education reforms, President Nandi-Ndaitwah has taken decisive steps to streamline government operations. Her administration reduced the number of ministries from 21 to 14 and eliminated several high-level positions, including the vice presidency and deputy minister roles. These measures are intended to enhance government efficiency, reduce public expenditure, and strengthen governance structures. President Nandi-Ndaitwah has also been instrumental in addressing historical injustices. On May 28, 2025, Namibia observed its first Genocide Remembrance Day, commemorating the early 20th century atrocities committed against the Ova Herero and Nama people. during German colonial rule. While acknowledging Germany's 2021 recognition of the genocide and its pledge of 1.1 billion euros in development aid, President Nandi Ndaitwah emphasized the need for continued negotiations to ensure that reparations adequately address the grievances of affected communities. In the realm of foreign policy, President Nandi Ndaitwah has expressed support for Burkina Faso current regime led by Captain Ibrahim Traore. Traore's administration has implemented significant reforms aimed at economic revitalization, social development, and national sovereignty. Notably, Burkina Faso has seen GDP growth from approximately $18.8 billion to $22.1 billion, paid off local debts, and invested in infrastructural projects such as the construction of the Ogodugu Dosin Airport. These initiatives align with a broader vision of self-reliance and reduced dependence on foreign aid. Her endorsement of Traore's leadership reflects a shared commitment to Africa's self-determination and resistance to neocolonial influences. By supporting Burkina Faso's pursuit of economic independence and social reforms, she advocates for Pan-African solidarity and prioritizes the continent's interests and empowers its nations to chart their own development paths. I think this is what all leaders in the continent must embrace. When we have a leader who is standing up to Western powers who have for many years taken advantage of our natural resources, we need to support such kind of leaders, because if we leave them, they will be naked and these Western powers will finish them and destroy them completely. We have seen visionary African leaders rising, and they were not left to really fulfill the dreams that they had. For example, people like Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. He was assassinated and killed by the NATO forces because he desired a United States of Africa, where Africa would be able to chart its own path when it comes to economic development and empowerment. They did not want that, and they decided to come and kill him and kill his dream completely. Right now, if you look at Libya, it is in shambles. We have also seen people like Thomas Sankara, whom he is the reincarnate Captain Ibrahim Traore. His vision of unifying Africa and ensuring that Burkinabe people are elevated from poverty was killed. People like Patrice Emery Lumumba were killed because of their vision and desires to really make Africa united and great again. We as a people must come together and support our leaders, visionary young leaders who are coming up, and make sure that no matter what comes against them, we stand by them and support them because they desire the best for us. That is it from us today. If you're watching us for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join our membership to get access to exclusive content tailored just for you. Thank you, and let's meet in the next one. Goodbye.